First contact gone wrong. The research vessel Horizon drifted silently through the Carina Nebula's outer rim, its sensors probing the mysterious gas clouds that had drawn humanity's attention for decades. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes reflecting the swirling purples and blues of the cosmic spectacle before her. 20 years of deep space exploration had taught her to trust her instincts, and something felt different about today. "Doctor, we're picking up unusual energy signatures," Lieutenant Rodriguez called from his station. "They're like nothing in our database." Sarah moved to the sensor display, her brow furrowing as she studied the readings. "These patterns, they're too regular to be natural phenomena. Mark, can you isolate the source?" Before Rodriguez could respond, the ship's proximity alerts blared to life. A massive vessel emerged from the nebula's gases, its angular form bristling with what were unmistakably weapon systems. It was easily 3 times the size of the Horizon, and its design spoke of technological advancement far beyond humanity's current capabilities. "All hands to stations," Captain David Wells ordered, his voice steady despite the tension. "Open all frequencies for communication. Let's not make any assumptions." The alien vessel's response came not in words but in action. A brilliant beam of energy lanced out from its bow, slicing through the Horizon's outer sensor array like paper. Warning klaxons screamed throughout the ship as emergency bulkheads slammed into place. "They're scanning us," the communications officer reported, her fingers flying over her console. "Our databases, our navigation systems, they're trying to access everything." Sarah watched in horror as the alien ship launched what appeared to be boarding pods. "Captain, they think we're spies," she realized aloud. "The research equipment, our scanning arrays, they must think we're gathering military intelligence." Captain Wells activated the ship-wide comm. "All security teams to defensive positions. Science team, initiate database purge protocols. We cannot allow our research to fall into hostile hands." The first impacts rocked the Horizon as the boarding pods attached themselves to the hull. Sarah could hear the cutting torches starting their work, the alien boarders burning their way through the ship's outer skin. "Captain," Sarah said, her voice firm, "the Gamma Protocol. We have to consider it." Wells met her gaze, understanding passing between them. The Gamma Protocol was a last resort, designed to protect Earth's most sensitive scientific discoveries from falling into the wrong hands. It would destroy the ship and everyone aboard, but it would also prevent any potential enemies from gaining access to technologies that could threaten humanity. Not yet, Wells decided. Humanity just made first contact with an advanced alien species. If there's any chance of turning this into a diplomatic situation, we have to try. The ship shuddered as the first breach was made. Security feeds showed the alien boarders entering through the cargo bay. Tall, insectoid creatures in sleek armor, moving with military precision. Their weapons glowed with an otherworldly energy. "This is Captain David Wells of the Earth research vessel Horizon." Wells broadcast on all frequencies. "We are a scientific expedition. We mean you no harm and request immediate cessation of hostilities." The response came in perfect English, transmitted directly to their communications array. "Your deception is noted, human vessel. Your scanning technologies have been observed in restricted space. The consortium does not tolerate espionage. Prepare to be boarded and detained." Sarah watched as the security teams engaged the first wave of boarders. Human pulse rifles flashed against alien energy weapons, filling the corridors with chaos. She knew that the Horizon, with its minimal military complement, couldn't hope to repel a determined assault. "Captain," Rodriguez called out, his voice tight with urgency. "They're deploying some kind of suppression field. Our engines are losing power." Wells looked at the tactical display, his expression grim. "Send the emergency broadcast. Full encryption, tight beam to the nearest relay station. Earth needs to know what happened here." As Sarah helped encode the message, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a tragic misunderstanding. The aliens' response had been too quick, too decisive. They had been waiting, watching, perhaps testing humanity's response to their presence. The message launched just as the ship's main power failed, leaving them illuminated only by emergency lighting. Through the observation windows, Sarah could see more alien ships emerging from the nebula's depths. This wasn't just a patrol, it was an invasion force. "Captain," she said quietly, "I don't think they were worried about espionage at all. I think they were looking for an excuse." Wells nodded slowly, watching as more boarding pods attached themselves to his dying ship. "Then God help us all," he replied, "because humanity isn't going to take this lying down." The breaking point. 3 months after the Horizon incident, Admiral James Harper stood before the United Earth Defense Council, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display of humanity's outer colonies. Red warning indicators flashed across multiple sectors, each representing another attack by the species now known as the Consortium. "The attacks follow a pattern," Harper explained, his voice carrying across the silent chamber. "They're systematically isolating our colonies, cutting off communication and supply lines. But their latest move," he paused, jaw clenching, "their latest move changes everything." The display shifted to show the agricultural colony of New Eden, once a thriving community of 50,000 settlers, now a smoking ruin. But it wasn't the destruction that had brought the council together in emergency session. "They took children," Harper continued, his knuckles white against the podium. 317 of them, aged between 4 and 15. Their parents were executed. The adult colonists who survived reported that the Consortium specifically targeted families, separating the children before. He couldn't finish the sentence. Ambassador Chen, Sarah Chen's mother, rose from her seat. "The diplomatic package we received claims these children are being protected from what they call our aggressive expansion. They're demanding we withdraw from all colonies beyond the Sol system in exchange for their return." The chamber erupted in angry shouts and protests. Council President Maria Santos raised her hand for silence. "They misunderstand humanity fundamentally if they think this will force our compliance." In the back of the chamber, Commander Eva Torres of Special Operations watched the proceedings with cold calculation. She had lost her sister on the horizon, and now these aliens were targeting children. Her tablet displayed classified intelligence, suggesting this wasn't the Consortium's first such action. Other species had fallen to similar tactics. "We've confirmed the location of the children," Harper continued. "They're being held in a facility on what we've designated Consortium Prime. Their defenses are considerable." Torres stepped forward. "Give me a team," she said, her voice cutting through the murmurs. "A small force can penetrate their defenses where a fleet would fail." Harper turned to her. "Commander Torres, their orbital defenses." "With respect, Admiral," she interrupted, "they expect a military response. They expect warships and armies. They don't expect a handful of very angry humans." President Santos leaned forward. "Explain." Torres approached the holographic display, manipulating it to show the Consortium's defense network. "They think they understand us. They've studied our military capabilities, our fleet movements, our colony defenses. But they've made a critical mistake. They think we'll follow conventional military doctrine." She highlighted a small asteroid field near Consortium Prime. "My team can modify a civilian mining vessel, hide among the asteroid miners that service their shipyards. Their arrogance works in our favor. They don't even scan these ships anymore." "And once you're in?" Harper asked. "We do what humans do best. We adapt, we improvise, and we show them exactly why taking our children was the worst mistake they could have made." The council chambers fell silent as the implications sank in. They all knew that conventional warfare against the technologically superior Consortium would result in massive casualties. But a covert operation, led by humanity's best. President Santos exchanged looks with her advisors before speaking. "You understand, Commander, that if you're captured, Earth will deny all knowledge of your mission. This has to appear as a rogue action, giving our diplomats room to maneuver." Torres nodded. "My team will be volunteers only. We all know the risks. And the children. Ambassador Chen asked softly, "How can you guarantee their safety during an extraction?" Torres' expression softened slightly. "Because every member of my team is a parent, Ambassador. We're not just soldiers on a mission. We're mothers and fathers fighting for our future." Harper studied the tactical displays. "You'll need something more than conventional weapons, something they won't expect." "Already ahead of you, Admiral," Torres replied, pulling up schematics on her tablet. "We've been developing countermeasures since the Horizon incident, weapons and tactics specifically designed to exploit what we've learned about their technology." The Council deliberated briefly before President Santos spoke again. "You have 48 hours to assemble your team, Commander. After that, you're on your own." As the meeting adjourned, Torres felt a hand on her shoulder. It was Ambassador Chen. "Eva," she said quietly, "my daughter was on the Horizon. We never found out what happened to the crew after they were taken." Torres met the older woman's gaze. "If they're alive, Ambassador, we'll find them too. The consortium is about to learn that humanity doesn't abandon its own." Later, in her quarters, Torres reviewed the personnel files of potential team members. Each candidate had combat experience, technical skills, and most importantly, a personal stake in the mission. The consortium had tried to break humanity's spirit by targeting its children. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous, a species united in righteous fury. Her comm unit chimed with the first responses from her selected operators. Every single one had accepted, many without even reading the full mission parameters. They knew the risks, knew the likely cost, and still they volunteered. Torres closed her eyes, remembering her sister's last transmission from the Horizon. "We're coming," she whispered. "And God help anyone who stands in our way." Operation Starfall. The mining vessel Broken Rock looked like any other asteroid harvester drifting through consortium space, battered, utilitarian, and utterly unremarkable. Inside, Commander Eva Torres and her team of 12 operators performed final equipment checks in the cargo hold, now converted into a covered operations center. "Latest intel from our deep cover assets," Lieutenant Maya Patel reported, projecting a hologram of their target facility. "The children are being held in these lower levels. Security is heavy, but they're focusing on external threats. They're not expecting anyone to already be inside their perimeter." Marcus Chen, their tech specialist, and Sarah Chen's cousin, highlighted key points in the projection. "I've identified their primary security nodes. Their systems are advanced, but they follow patterns, predictable patterns." Torres studied the hologram, mentally mapping their approach. Her team was an unlikely mix: former special forces, intelligence operators, and even a few reformed criminals whose skills proved invaluable for this mission. Each had lost someone to the consortium. Each had children of their own, and each understood there would likely be no return trip. "Final gear check," Torres ordered. "Marcus, how are our special packages?" Chen patted a series of innocuous-looking mining charges. "Ready to sing, Commander." The consortium's energy shields are impressive, but they've never dealt with quantum resonance disruption. Once these babies sync with their shield frequency, it'll be like they're not even there. "Good," Torres nodded. "Remember, we're not here for revenge. Primary objective is extracting those kids. Secondary objective is gathering intel on the Horizon's crew and any other human prisoners. If we can hurt their operations in the process, that's a bonus." The ship's captain, a gruff woman named Helena Volkov, entered the hold. "We're approaching the mining zone. Consortium patrol vessels are conducting routine scans. Our transponders are broadcasting the correct codes." Torres turned to her team. "One last time. Anyone wants out, now's your chance. Once we commit, there's no turning back." The only response was the sound of weapons being checked and armor being secured. These weren't just soldiers anymore. They were parents on a mission, carrying the hopes of countless families. The next 12 hours passed in tense silence as the broken rock maneuvered through the asteroid field, maintaining its cover as a simple mining vessel. They docked at a processing station, their modified mining charges passing inspection because, technically, they were mining equipment, just repurposed for a very different kind of demolition. First team, move out, Torres ordered as night cycle began on the station. Maya Patel led 3 operators through the maintenance corridors, their chameleonic armor adapting to match the surroundings. Thanks to Marcus's hacking, the station's security systems saw nothing. Torres watched through their helmet feeds as the first team reached their initial objective, a communication hub connecting the station to the planet-side facility. Package 1 in place, Patel whispered, ready to disrupt their comms on your mark. Second team, go, Torres commanded. She led this group herself, moving through the station's waste reclamation system. An unpleasant route, but one with minimal security. The consortium, like many advanced species, had automated most of their unclean maintenance work. They emerged in a low-security storage area, their armor now cleaned by built-in sterilization systems. Marcus immediately went to work on a nearby terminal, his augmented reality interface translating consortium data streams in real time. "I've got something," he murmured, accessing their prisoner databases. "Commander, I found them. The Horizon's crew. They're alive. Being held in a research facility adjacent to where they're keeping the children." Torres felt her heart rate spike, but kept her voice steady. "Location. Uploading coordinates now. But Commander, the data suggests they're being used for experiments. Something about human adaptability and resilience testing." A cold fury settled over Torres, but she pushed it aside. "Stay focused. Maya, is your team in position? Ready to light up their night, Commander." Torres checked the facility schematics one final time. "All teams, execute on my mark. Remember, we move fast, we hit hard, and we don't stop until every human is accounted for." She took a deep breath, thinking of her sister on the horizon, of the children torn from their families, of humanity's future hanging in the balance. Mark. Across the facility, quantum resonance charges detonated simultaneously, creating localized disruptions in the consortium's energy shields. Communication systems crashed as carefully planted viruses overwhelmed their networks, and in the confusion, 12 humans moved with deadly purpose toward their objectives. The consortium was about to learn a harsh lesson about humanity, not just about their tactical capabilities or their technological ingenuity, but about the sheer, unstoppable force of parents fighting for their children. The real battle was about to begin. The truth emerges. Chaos erupted throughout the consortium facility as Torres's team executed their plan. Emergency sirens wailed as shield disruptions cascaded through their defensive systems. Through the confusion, Torres led her strike team deeper into the complex, their path illuminated by emergency lighting. "Contact front." Lieutenant Patel's voice crackled through the comm. The sound of energy weapons and human railguns echoed through the corridors. Consortium security responding, but they're disorganized. They've never seen their shields fail like this. Torres and her team encountered their first resistance at a security checkpoint. The insectoid consortium warriors were impressive, nearly 8 feet tall, with natural armor plating and advanced weaponry. But they had never faced humans fighting with nothing left to lose. "Marcus, status on the children," Torres demanded as she dropped 2 guards with precise shots. 2 levels down, he responded, fingers dancing across his portable terminal. "I've accessed their internal sensors. They're moving the children, Commander. They're trying to evacuate them to a secondary facility." "Not happening," Torres growled. "Maya, take your team and cut off their evacuation route. We'll proceed to the primary holding area." As they fought their way deeper, Torres noticed something odd about the facility's layout. The security measures, the containment protocols, they seemed designed for more than just holding prisoners. They reached the children's holding area to find it partially evacuated, but dozens of kids remained, huddled in containment cells, The sight of their scared faces ignited something primal in Torres's team. "Get these cells open," Torres ordered. "Marcus, find me a route to that research facility. We're not leaving without the Horizon's crew." As they worked to free the children, a voice echoed through the facility's communication system, not in the harsh tones of the consortium, but in perfect, accented English. "Commander Torres," the voice said, somehow knowing her identity. "I am Chief Researcher Vexcar. I suggest you cease your operation immediately. You don't understand what's at stake here." Torres signaled her team to continue while she responded. "We understand perfectly. You took our children, experimented on our people. That's all we need to know." "No," Vexcar replied, almost sadly. "You don't understand at all. The experiments, the abductions, they were never about conquest. We were preparing you." Torres paused, something in the alien's tone catching her attention. "Preparing us for what?" "For what's coming. Your species. You're unique. In all our studies of sentient races, we've never encountered adaptability like yours. The way you overcome challenges, the way you fight when cornered, it's extraordinary." A massive explosion rocked the facility. "Commander," Maya's voice cut in. "They're bringing in heavy weapons. We need to move." But Torres was focused on Vexcar's words. "You're saying this was all some kind of test. The galaxy is changing, Commander. There are threats coming that the consortium alone cannot face. We needed to know if humanity could be allies in what's coming. Your response to our provocations has proven more impressive than we could have hoped." Torres felt cold anger rising. "So you tortured our people, took our children, all to see how we'd react. To see how you'd fight," Vexcar corrected. "And you've exceeded every expectation. Even now, a small team of humans has penetrated our most secure facility, something no other species has achieved." Marcus called out from his position. "Commander, I'm in their research database. He's telling the truth. There's something else out there, something that has the consortium terrified." Torres made a quick decision. "Maya, get the children to the extraction point. Marcus, download everything you can. I'm going to have a face-to-face chat with our chief researcher." "Commander," Maya protested, "that's not the mission. The mission changed the moment we learned this goes beyond just us. If there's really something coming that scares a species capable of this level of technology, we need to know what it is." Torres turned to the frightened children being led to safety by her team. They were past the fear now, showing the same resilience that had apparently impressed the consortium so much. Some of the older ones were even helping carry the younger ones. "Get them out," she ordered. "I'm going to find Vexcar and get answers. If I'm not at the extraction point in 20 minutes, leave without me." As her team moved out with their precious cargo, Torres checked her weapon and started moving deeper into the facility. The consortium had wanted to see humanity's true capabilities. They were about to get a much closer look than they'd bargained for. Through the chaos of battle and evacuation, a new understanding was emerging. This wasn't just about saving children anymore. It was about the future of humanity in a galaxy far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. And somewhere in the facility, Chief Researcher Vexcar waited with answers that could change everything. Redemption's price. Commander Torres found Chief Researcher Vexcar in a secured observation chamber, surrounded by holographic displays showing both the ongoing evacuation and something far more terrifying. Images of massive dark ships moving through the void between galaxies. Vexcar turned as she entered, his insectoid features unreadable but his posture suggesting he'd been expecting her. He was taller than the other consortium members, with distinctive markings that suggested high rank or status. "The children are safely away," Torres said, keeping her weapon trained on him. "Now tell me what was worth traumatizing them for." Vexcar gestured to the displays. "We call them the Void Hunters. They emerge from dark space every few millennia, consuming entire civilizations. The consortium was formed after the last incursion, when we realized no single species could stand against them alone. And this justified torturing humans, experimenting on the Horizon's crew. We needed to understand your limits, Vexcar replied. Your potential. The Horizon's crew showed us something remarkable. Humans don't break under pressure. They adapt. They evolve. Even now, they're developing resistance to our most sophisticated control methods. Taurus's calm crackled. Commander, Marcus's voice was urgent. I've finished analyzing their data. The Void Hunters. They're not just coming. They're already here. Early scout ships have been detected at the galaxy's edge. Vexcar nodded grimly, which is why we need humanity's help. Your species possesses something unique, an ability to find solutions where none seem possible. The children were never in danger. We needed to observe how both they and your species would respond to extreme stress. You could have asked for our help, Taurus growled. Would you have believed us? Would humanity have united and pushed itself to its limits without a tangible threat? Vexcar manipulated the displays, showing footage of human colonies successfully resisting consortium attacks. Look at what you've accomplished in just months. Technology that counters our shields, tactics that overcome our superior numbers. Innovations we never considered. The facility shook with another explosion. Commander, Maya's voice cut in. The children are secured, but we've got multiple consortium capital ships incoming. We need to leave now. Torres studied Vexcar. What's your play here? Why tell me all this? Because I'm offering an alliance, a real one this time. We'll release all human prisoners, provide full compensation to affected colonies, and share our technology. In return, we need humanity's unique perspective in the war to come. Torres laughed bitterly. You realize no one will trust you after what you've done. They don't need to trust us. They need to survive. The Void Hunters don't negotiate. They don't take prisoners. They consume everything in their path. Vexcar's mandibles clicked with agitation. We estimate less than 2 years before their main fleet arrives. Taurus's mind raced. The tactical implications were staggering. If Vexcar was telling the truth, humanity would need the consortium's advanced technology, but the political fallout from cooperation would be intense. Commander, Marcus called again. You need to see this data. The Void Hunters, their technology, their biology, it's like nothing we've ever seen. This isn't a war we can win alone. Torres made her decision. I'm taking you to Earth. You'll present your evidence to the Defense Council personally. But first, we get the Horizon's crew and any other human prisoners. Already being released, Vexcar said, I gave the order when you breached our facility. Consider it a gesture of good faith. As if to confirm his words, Taurus's comm lit up with reports of humans being evacuated from various sections of the facility. Among them was Sarah Chen, changed but alive. Maya, Taurus called. Adjust the extraction plan. We're bringing a guest. And tell Admiral Harper he's about to have a very interesting diplomatic situation on his hands. As they moved through the facility toward the extraction point, Torres watched consortium and human forces begin to shift from combat to an uneasy cooperation in the face of the evacuation. It wasn't trust, not yet, but it was a start. You know, she said to Vexcar, there were better ways to test humanity's capabilities. Perhaps, he admitted, but we've learned from you as well. Your response to our actions has taught us that strength comes in many forms. The Void Hunters won't expect our species to work together. That may be our greatest advantage. Torres thought of the children they'd rescued, of the Horizon's crew, of all the pain and suffering caused by the consortium's tests. It would take generations to heal those wounds. But if what Vexcar said was true, they didn't have generations. They had 2 years to prepare for a threat that made the consortium look benevolent in comparison. As they boarded the extraction vessel, Torres looked back at the facility where everything had changed. Humanity had come here looking for justice, for revenge. They'd found something far more complex, a future that would require them to overcome not just their limitations, but their justified anger as well. The real test was just beginning.